Hello students. So today we are going to talk about the topic of ours, which is fertilizers. So whenever we talk about the fertilizers, we are talking about an artificial way or a synthetic way of giving the nutrients or the chemical substances to the soil which are actually helpful for them. And the natural way of utilizing the same process is called the manure. Okay, so like here if I talk about the fertilizers, so these are synthetic chemical substances as I said, which are added to the soil to restore its mineral nutrients. Okay, these fertilizers are soluble in water and hence are easily absorbed by the plants. Like they are made in such a way that they can be soluble in water because usually the roots are present in areas where the water is present. So they have to be soluble in those areas so that once the water has to be taken, these fertilizers can also go along with it. They are required in a very small quantities. They are considered as a what you can say micronutrients you can say. Particularly we give, like if we talk about fertilizers, usually the fertilizers contain nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So you can say these are like NPK compounds which are used. Okay, and the reason is because these are the three important compounds or you can say essential compounds which plants require in a very large quantity. And if they are not there, then they can directly affect the growth of the plant. Like if I say about the nitrogen, so nitrogen is something which is directly involved in the protein development. If you talk about phosphorus, involved in the ATP development, or it is also involved in the DNA as well. So again, the presence of the compounds are actually its utilization in the day-to-day activity of an organism. Now, if you say like the different types of chemical fertilizers so that are available in the market, so again, they depend upon the type of a nutrient you are using. Nitrogenous fertilizer, phosphatic fertilizer, and potassium fertilizer. And again, you can't just give them directly as an element, I can say. You have to make a compound out of it. So there for nitrogen you have urea, ammonium nitrate, sodium nitrate. For phosphate you have superphosphate, ammonium phosphate. For potassium you have potassium nitrate, potassium chloride and potassium sulfate. So they are present in a mixture where all of these compounds are there. You mix them and you put it into the soil so the plants can take it. The use of chemical fertilizers and the pesticides you can say, because pesticides is another way of giving such chemicals at the end, will enhance the crop production tremendously in the recent years, but at the same time they have been responsible for many environmental hazards and disturbing the ecological stability. And the reason behind saying that is these are chemical compounds, these are not natural compounds. You are making them artificial, and nature doesn't know to how to utilize them. Okay, so once you are putting them, you are putting them in a very certain way and in a certain amount of pesticides or the fertilizers are putting into the soil, but then again they will take a lot of time to be recycled in the nature, because again the the way we are making them is completely artificial as I said, so that actually affects the overall procedure of their recycling, and that is the reason we cause, like we have saying here, that this cause the environmental hazard and disturbing the ecological stability, because they remain in the water which is getting toxic after a certain point of time. They remain in the soil which can become infertile if they just keep on like, or you let them within the soil as well, like they are not being utilized. Or let's say the humans are consuming such crop which has a lot of fertilizers and the pesticides, so that can also affecting us as well. Okay, so these are the factors, but that doesn't mean that like fertilizers are completely have a negative point of view. They are having a lot of advantages, but you need to understand how to use them because they are very nutrient specific. So let's say nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. Since the plant or a certain type of a species of a plant require a very certain type of a nutrient, so you can give them directly. Then they are required in a very small amount. This is a very important factor that you need to take care of. If you are giving them very small amount, they are very good and you can utilize them. They are very easy to store because they comes in a certain type of a bag which you can utilize it for a longer period of time, and their transport is also good because they are compact. And again, you don't need to use them for a very large quantity. So again, you need to buy a large quantity of fertilizers as well, so that also help in reducing the cost of transport as well. Being soluble in water, they can readily available for the plants and easily absorbed by the plants. They ensure the vegetative growth, which is like again the growth of the plant, you can say. They will enhance the metabolism, because at the end the last 2 points are actually the reason that you're using the fertilizers. Now, what are the disadvantages that you have to take care? First of all, they're involved in the leaching of fertilizers, which can cause the pollution of underground water, as I said, because they are readily soluble in water. So they cause that they lead to cause the toxicity in that underground water, as I can say. Leaching is a process within the soil, okay, like how the soil formation is taking place. But once you add the fertilizers, these fertilizers will involve in that process, go in all of those natural or involve in those natural processes, and cause the damage to them, or can cause the toxicity as well. So that is the first disadvantage. Pollution of water, lakes and the rivers, that which is like very close to the agricultural areas. So these fertilizers are washed away, okay, or you can see these washed away fertilizers actually entering into these water bodies and causes the eutrophication. Eutrophication is like unnecessary a lot of minerals in reaching this water body, which allows a sudden algal growth, which at the end leads to the layer of the alga over the water, and at the end it reduces the oxygen or amount of oxygen within the water, and leads to the death of all the organisms or aquatic organisms. So that is how they are actually causing the damage to the nearby areas as well, which is particularly known as eutrophication here. Okay, as I said, they kill. So then in this process, what you can say, it kills aquatic animals, and I already told you how and what is the whole process. Fertilizers change the soil chemistry and make it either too acidic or too alkaline if you are not using them properly, and if you are adding too much into the soil, and adding them as a regular basis. They kill the soil microorganism as well, because again there are so many unnecessary nutrients which can actually cause the toxicity, which lead to the hypertonic or hypotonic condition and cause the damage to the soil. Okay, so hence organic matter in the soil is not replenished properly, which leads to the loss of the fertility of soil in a due course of time. They only provide the short-term benefits, because again that is why they are being made, that only a certain quantity is needed. You put them, utilize them, and make sure that it has been utilized by the plants, and just let it be. That's it. But the thing is, a lot of changes are taking place, and that is why farmers utilizing them a lot, and that actually cause the or leads to the disadvantages of fertilizers. And also they affect the hydration and the aeration. Again, if you keep on adding the fertilizers, they keep on accumulating. So rather than the areas which has to be captured by the water and the air, now has been captured by all of these fertilizers, and leads to the or affecting the hydration and aeration, and directly affect the quality of the crop as well. So these are like the major disadvantages of the fertilizers, and that is why the farmers start utilizing the manure more rather than using the fertilizer. But still, if you use the fertilizer in a wiser way, you can actually make a better crop, especially in terms of commercialization. I hope this will help you. Thank you.